Welcome to our webinar today on upgrading the Process Director 7.8. I'm going to talk to you about some of the new features in the latest version of Process Director and talk to, let you know about upgrading and the process for upgrading to this version of Process Director. We have some upcoming webinars coming up in office hours. Coming up for the webinars, we have some SharePoint work in Office 365 coming up in May. I don't think that's right. I'm gonna go ahead and skip these because those dates are incorrect. All right. What is Process Director? What's new in Process Director 7.8? Preparing for your upgrade, summary, and questions is the agenda today. Quick disclaimer, all this information is accurate to the best of our knowledge based off of what we get from the vendor's website. Any feedback or recommendations, please go ahead and email us rpi@rpnc.com. All right, what is Kofax Process Director? Marco, you can go ahead, sir.
Okay, so yes, first let's say about the Process Director. So basically the Process Director of Kofax, it's a business platform based on SAP technology that provides the sub companies or companies who are using SAP some higher level of automation than it exists in SAP. So currently you can see the SAP normally as a place when you can register your transaction like invoices or down payments or postings, but it doesn't have normally out of the box the process automation. So that's the place when Process Director came into the picture. So basically with Process Director you can also it's possible to automate the processes around these registrations. So for example, if you have the invoice and you need to post the invoice in SAP, you can just register this transaction of posting invoice. But with Process Director, you can set up the whole workflow with approving invoice instead of going by paper or by mail around the company. For example, the similar thing also can be like, for example, with payment approval. So you don't need really to send emails, but with our system we have special model for payment approval when it's possible to do whole approval process and just register the payment. It will give you some level of automation and shortens your time or execution. However, you can see the Process Director as a platform that offers automation for different kind of business processes. For example, we have everything starting from P2P. It's like requisitions, let's say goods receipts handling, invoice handling, payment approval handling, down payment handling, invoice block and reversals, and payment approval. Also, we offer something what we call OTC, order to cash, when everything can be automated from receiving the order up to delivery and the end onto accounts receivables when you match your account receivables with the bank payments. And on top of that, it provides the automation for the master data processes, like creating of new vendor or cost center or customer. Also, it gives you some extra modules like financial postings, customer postings, and asset postings. So basically, that will be the core of the Process Director. And on top of that, it offers you a couple of different layers on the top of SAP, like Fiori layer, or we can also offer our PDWeb application. It's basically a Java application that runs on the top of Process Director or SAP, when the users can use instead of SAP GUI that is let's say more complicated. Also, it offers you Fiori app, what is latest technologies of SAP, and it also opens the apps for iOS or Android. So yeah, it is basically also the Process Director, but you can see that as a complete platform for the process automation on the top of SAP. So I think we can move to the next slide. Okay, on this slide, what we were able to see, it's a couple of different screenshots for the different user interfaces. So for example, the first one, it is SAP GUI, as probably you know. Then the second one, it will be our PDWeb app. So it's basically our Java application that runs on the in the top of the process director, and it gives opportunity also for the people who doesn't have extensive SAP GUI experience to work with a much simple user interface. The one down, it's like our Fiori app. It's a new SAP technology, so we can also offer that one. Sorry, and then that is on the right side, and on the left side, it's our Android app. So basically, anybody with Android and iOS can log on the phone based on the specific credentials and approve or reject the invoice. So it is not needed to go to your laptop, open the SAP GUI and then approve, but it can just be done via phone, via internet at any moment. So on this way, you get your invoice approved or payment approved on time. So yeah, that will be the 4 basic interfaces that we are offering. So I think we can move. Okay, as I said, the biggest benefits having something like Process Director, it's a complete automation platform. It is just not a place when you register your transaction, but it also gives you everything, especially including workloads. So what is also important to say here, is that it is fully compatible with SAP. It has its own transports, but also it is independent of SAP. So all the changes that are made in Process Director, they stay in the Process Director, and they do not affect any changes that are happening in standard SAP. So yeah, the second, I would say, bigger benefit, it's all about exception handling. As you know, normally there is like 80-20 rule, that when the 80%, when 20% of all the invoices goes to 80% of the work. So with this platform, we can fully automate this exception handling, send invoices to good people, and then book these invoices on time, and skip late payments and late payment fees. Then the another point is invoice approvals. This is very important, because if you have, for example, invoice that needs to be approved before the posting, we can set up specific approval matrix, or we can assign the approvers based on the cost centers, or based on if it is invoice, it can be also done based on the purchase order creator or purchase order requisitioner. So once the invoice is automatically created, then it can go directly to the good approver. So it will not be needed somebody open the PO, see who is the approver, who is the person who created the PO, and then send that document via mail for approval. But the system itself will read the approver, will read the PO creator from SAP, for example, and then send this document to that specific person to approve automatically. On the same way, if we, for example, have FI invoices, this approval can be done based on the cost centers. One also big thing here is that we can also display the invoice images. So you will get the sub-screen with the data, but parallelly in the screen we can give to the user the physical document, which normally PDF or TIFF, so that user can also look into the document itself, not only into the sub-screen. So all of this helps users to better see and overview the document and approve or reject that. And this, as I said, the last point is that we have different interfaces, not only SAP GUI, that is let's say most complex one, but also the people can do the approval via mobile app or Fiori if the company is using Fiori, or we can also install our PDWeb app on the top of the Tomcat, so that users can just do via internet browser, Chrome or Mozilla, Firefox or Explorer. So shortly, yeah, this will be the some of the benefits that standard SAP solution out of the box will not provide you, that our add-on can give to you. Okay, so the another benefit is that, for example, as I said, it's also EDI integration, as in this time, a lot of data is going and traveling electronically. So our add-on offers you a complete integration with your EDI interface. And this is normally done by just a configuration without specific any coding development. So it means that we can read the EDI messages and also read the attachments if they are coming with EDI messages. For example, it can be PDF, which is physical image of the document, and we were able to based on this data, we are able to create the document in our system and give that document to the users. So on this way, you can keep using your OCR system to read the physical document, but if you have EDI messages, we also can support that, what also can streamline your process. Another point here that is also important, and it's related to the user interfaces that we offer, is that we have alternative for SAP GUI. So if you have somebody only if you have a system that offers only SAP GUI, it means that the users also needs to be trained in SAP and learn how it works. But with our other interfaces, but also because of easiness of use, we were able to give the system to the users that doesn't require extreme amount of training to understand how to use it. Also, the user interaction is much more simple than standard SAP, and the user interface is much more friendly, and it provides the possibility for the users to get very fast into application and to use it on the proper way. The one very important point, the third one, is that the system, when it comes it offers a lot of out-of-the-box functionality. This is very important when you do the implementation of the system, because it's not needed to spend a lot of extreme amount of time by developing specific ABAP code, but there is like a huge amount of standard functionalities that covers the biggest amount of business needs. So also we offer BSP, what is our best solution practice. It's based on the multiple implementation experience. So it comes not also with the product that is out of the box, but also with a solution for the specific part of the business, like, for example, approvals. And then on the end, the goal of the system is that you are able to process as much as possible invoices for the less possible time. It will give you the extra automation, and it will decrease your cost. Okay, I think we can move. Okay, so we finished the introduction part. So now we move to the PDAP features. So basically, these are new features that are coming with new 7.8 version. I would say it's like a new improvement is coming out of the box. So the first one that's on our list, it is payment split. So basically, this payment split is created because of specific legal requirements in Europe, especially related to the VAT. So there are like countries, like for example Poland, Romania, Spain, where you book the payment invoice. Is that normally you need to your invoice amount, you book to the one vendor account, but then VAT tax payment needs to be done on the separate account. So with this functionality, we support these legal requirements. Also, what can be done here is that, for example, if you have one invoice and then half of the invoice will be paid, I don't know, within the 30 days, and then the second part of the invoice, 50%, will be paid by 90 days. So it means that you can have two different payment terms in the same invoice, and then you can split your payment. One will be paid after 30 days, and another will be paid pay by the 90 days. Also, you can, as I said previously, you can pay your invoice into two different bank accounts. So yeah, this is the new feature that it comes out of the box without new version. Okay, then we got something is that normally in PDP you're able to send the messages to your vendor. So we can send directly any types of any message. Normally we have the standard messages, which are like templates sent to the vendors. But what is now here, for example, it will take the language based on the vendor language. But if you still want to send the message to some other language than vendor language, then it can be now changed. So, for example, you have English speaking vendor like in UK, but the person with who you work from that vendor, it's working from France. So you'll be able also now to change the language and send the French message with the French on French language. So it gives some flexibility on that. Okay, then we also came to the mail text in the next feature. So with the mail text, in previous versions we had some specific set of variables that was limited. And also there were no specific user exits for this to replace the variables. So what can happen now is that we can add our custom variables, and we can connect that with the custom text. So, for example, what you can do now is that when you send the reminder mail to the vendor who didn't pay any invoice, so the first message can have one text. But for example, if you send the second message for the payment, you can add different text that will be more stronger requiring the payment. So, and yeah, with these variables in the mail text, it provides us possibility to manipulate much more with one inside one email text. Okay, the another point is related to the item account assignments in invoices. So with this user exit, we can just limit the number of the fields that we are showing, because now I think it will show all the fields. But with this user exit, for example, for the specific vendors, you can just show if you want GL account, net amount, cost center, and profit center, and hide all other fields. So the point of the user exit is that limit the amount of data on your screen as one that you need. In previous version, normally you'll be able to see all the fields. Okay, and we move to the next. PDP has the functionality to assign specific document to the user. So basically, and it is happening outside the workflow via option assign the users from the menu. However, in the previous version, somebody will just need to type the name of the user and assign. However, if this person make a type error message, type error, or add like one extra character in the username, it will still assign that document to that user, even this user is not existing in the system as a SAP user. So with this new check, we have possibility if somebody may make this kind of mistake to get the error message that will say that the user to who you want to assign the document doesn't exist. And with this functionality, we got much more control about the assigning the documents to the specific users. The next one, it's related to IDOC number and TechKey transaction. So basically, TechKey transaction is just a log transaction of PDP document. This transaction is normally used by admins who need some more data to debug or to check specific things. What happened in the previous version, if the document is received by IDOC or via ADI to PDP, it will not have this IDOC source data. So basically, from which segment is data coming? So with the new version, when we do the tag transaction, we are able to also to retrieve this specific EDI IDOC data and show to the user who wants to check the PDP document log, and this can make debugging of the specific document much more easier and provide more data. Okay, then we move to the next new feature. It's related to Repetitor. So basically, Repetitor is a program that's used to automatically post the documents. So, for example, it can be used instead. We can have scenario that the document goes to the workflow and it's not posted in the workflow, even it's approved, and then we can run the Repetitor that will automatically post the document instead of that user needs to open the document and click on the post button. So, for example, it is used for the cases when we receive invoice, PO-based invoice, and there is no GR created. So Repetitor will, when it is run, for example, one time per day, it will check if there is like goods receipt created for that invoice, and if it is created, it will match the goods receipt with the PO and with the invoice and automatically post the document. However, this has one limitation for this document because it required that you entered the PO lines. However, with the new Repetitor, even from OCR, even it just came the header data, or from EIDOC, even came the header data, and we create the PDP document. Now with the Repetitor, it will run the item proposal in the background, and it will try to retrieve all the received items that can be built, and try to match that with invoice received. And if it's matched, item proposal will be successful and document will be posted. As I said in the previous version, the Repetitor didn't have possibility to do the item proposal, but it was able just to do the matching, line item matching, if the PO lines are also presented in the document. Okay. The next functionality is basically one small improvement. As you know, it's always possible in PDP to add the custom flags. These custom flags can be used for any kind of different scenarios when you want to have to assign some specific flag to some document to provide the end user, let's say, visibility of that document when it opens the list of the documents. However, this works fine, but there was one point that you could even assign the flag without the icon, and that will lead to the issue that there is a flag assigned, but there is no icon of that flag. So it will still see the flag, but it will be empty icon. It will see the name of the flag. So with the new version, it is always required to add the icon in the flag. So it will not happen that we have this kind of scenarios, having assign the flag, but without the specific icon. And one last feature that's on the list, it's related to the attachments for Fiori. So now we will see that later, but we are able to add the documents into the Fiori via Fiori interface, and with the new feature, this specific document at Fiori could be saved in specific specific archive link repository as a specific document type. So it will help to distinguish documents saved via Fiori and documents added as attachment via Fiori and documents added via attachment via for example SAP GUI. So yeah, this will be the last feature related to the PDWeb AP itself. So the next slide is talking about the PDWeb application, new improvements and new features. And as you see, the PDWeb application is a web layer of PDAP when the users can log via browser and just work on documents instead of doing that via SAP GUI. So here we have a couple of major improvements. So the first one, it's related to security fixes. So with this new PDWeb version, the specific security settings and security patches coming, so that it is able to pass the penetration tests. In practice, it means that somebody could not hack the app and misuse it for some different purpose than it is using it to work on invoices or other PD documents. So yeah, I think this is the first and the biggest improvement. So the another one, it means that in PDWeb app we can always add the substitute. However, there were some limitations that you were not able to choose the profile of the substitute. Sometimes you have one user who can be substituted in two different profiles. But now we were able also to choose the profile of the substitute in the PDWeb app. So what is the improvement from the previous version? When somebody needed to do this, it needed to be done via SAP GUI. But now with the new version, adding the substitute with the substitute profile, it's available in PDWeb app also. Okay. The next improvement, and it's also related to the user interaction. It's improved suggestions and input help. So here, what will happen is that with the new version, it will still remember what user normally entered when it was, for example, choosing the GL account. And if user starts to type like first 3 digits of the GL account, and it was all in last 10 times it used 9 times it used one GL account, it will now offer that one GL account that was used 9 of the 10 times when user was using the PDWeb app. So this also should save the time, so that user doesn't need to enter every time the full almost the full GL account, but it just with a couple of digits it will able to find one to offer at least one that was most used. Also, it is able now that you edit these suggestions so that you have some specific data that you can reuse later. So yeah, that's one improvement that should save the user's time. So the another one, it's in the PDWeb app we have also option that we do the mass approval. So it means that somebody, instead of approving invoice by invoice, opening document by document, this person now can select, for example, 10 invoices and just click one time approve and approve all the 10 invoices. However, in the previous version, this had a problem or limitation that you can see the amount of every invoice, but you cannot see the total amount of the all invoices that you are approving. So now, the new PDWeb app, if you go to this feature, there is a sum function. So basically, when user approves 10 invoices, it will also show to user what is the total amount of all the 10 invoices that user wants to approve. This will also give some better idea to the end user what amount, not just number of invoices, but also what amount user will approve with this mass approval function. Okay, we move to the next point, and this is related to the PO history. So, as you see in PDWeb app, it's also possible to show the PO history, and it means that it shows you, okay, for this specific PO line, when the goods are received, or if this specific line is partially invoiced. However, sometimes if this PO history is very large, it has a lot of lines, it can be unfriendly for the end user, but also it can have some performance issue because it requires a loading of a tremendous amount of data. So now with this new configuration parameter, we can limit, for example, okay, if there is like more for these POs, like of these vendors, I don't want to show the PO history because I know that it will take a lot of resources, or I know that it will make, or I know that it will make the document not easy readable because it will show the hundreds of lines. So that's one let's say configuration opportunities that we get with the new version in order to limit this. Okay, further, we got also in PDWeb app, we got option to have the follow-up flags. So in the previous version, this option was not available. So user could not see the follow-up flags. But now, with the new version, we can also show these follow-up flags in overview mode. So what will give you also users opportunity to visually find the documents easier. So for example, we can have option to set up some red follow-up flag if the due date is expired and the invoice is not posted. So in this case, user when logs to the PDWeb app, if you see the red follow-up flag in the overview mode, and you know that it needs to go first to that document. So user will not really need to check the due dates, but it will just, based on the follow-up flag, find easier the document that needs to act as soon as possible. Okay. The next functionality, it's related to background search. So basically, the way how the PDWeb app specific field works is that, for example, when you start to enter the code center, when you enter, I know one digit, 2 digit, even 1 digit, the system checks in the background. For example, if you enter 7, the system will check in the background and offer you all the code centers starting with 7. Then if you add the 0, the system will add offer you all that starts with 70. If you add the 5, then the system will offer you all the GL accounts that starting with 705. However, sometimes if there are a huge amount of, for example, code centers, this can cause some performance issue because it will do the search in the background all the time. So with this new function, what we can do is basically say, okay, it will give you the list of possible code centers only after you enter six digits, and then on this way, it will not doing the search on the top of the SAP after the first digit, but it will wait you to enter 6 digits. So it will give you some more better performance, and it will not offer you all the cost centers that you don't need, but it will offer you just ones, for example, that are filtered after you enter the six digits. So this the main goal of this functionality is to increase the user, to increase the usability, and also to make system working faster, not consuming the unnecessary resources. Okay. Then the next two features, I would combine them, and they are related to the authentication. So as you know, in PDWeb app, we can use the single sign-on, and it can be used together with Tomcat, and it can be used together with SAP. So basically, with this manipulation, we also sometimes it require you also to have domain name when you log with the SSO. So before it was the issue, because before we could not handle that. But now with the new version, you can also easily add the domain name on the top of your username, and you can match that with your Windows user, and you can do the single sign-on. The same, and this is for example for Tomcat. The same thing. It's also used for the SNC authentication, secure network communication. It's something what SAP NetWeaver use that can be used for single sign-on when the PDWeb app is installed on the top of the SAP NetWeaver and not of Tomcat. So now we can also manipulate with these strings inside this SNC application. Also, we are also able to add domain, for example, if it is needed, and to provide possibility to the users to log via single sign-on, not needed to enter the full username and password. So with these two functionalities, last one, it will increase the single sign-on possibilities, and also it can save the time for the users, as they do not need to log in manually every time. But now it will be possible also with single sign-on. So I think we can move to the next slide. Okay, PDAP Fiori features. As you probably can see, it's a lot of efforts on the Fiori side, as it's much these days. It's more and more companies using Fiori, so it becomes also logically that the PDAP offers the Fiori interface that can be used to replace or even the SAP interface or PDWeb interface. However, this interface in the previous version has some limitations, but with the new version, there are a lot of new features available that gives more opportunity to the users to use the Fiori instead of using the GUI or PDWeb app. So the first one is that it's some extra compatibility. So we support SAP UI5 1.6 version with Fiori CAC 5.0. So in the previous version, it was not supported. So companies using this specific UI5 and Fiori test version, they were not able to utilize our app. But with the new 7.8 version, that's also now possible. Okay, then in the previous, the second one, I think it's very important functionality. In the previous version, in the Fiori app, we were able just to approve or reject documents, and it was the limited set of activities. But with the new version, if the users receive the document in the workflow, and if it is a workflow set up on that way, now the user will be able to edit the data in the workflow. So, for example, user will receive the FI document, a non-PO invoice, and user will be required to add the GL coding, like GL account, cost center, profit center, BWS account. With new Fiori version, the user will be able to do this operation instead of inside Fiori by adding all necessary data and sending document further for approval. So in the previous version, this was only possible with SAP GUI and PDWeb app. Okay, so this is I think it's the biggest improvement that arrived with the new version. Also, the next point is also important: notes. So with the previous version, with Fiori was not possible. Inside the Fiori, it was not possible to add a note. But with the new version, also user can add a note and put specific comments inside the document. So, for example, if they add, I don't know, if they add one specific GL account and they want explanation why that account was added specifically, they can put that explanation in the note, and it will be passed to the next user in the workflow. Also, it's good now that attachments can be viewed. Before, it was only possible in Fiori to see the image itself, image of the invoice. But what happens is that sometimes there are some supporting documents coming together with the invoice image. And it was not possible to see these supporting documents. Now, with the new version, it's possible normally to see the invoice image, but it is possible to see the supporting documents that are coming together with the basic image. This also will help users working in the workflow, approving or rejecting documents. Okay. Then we move to the workflow actions. So in the previous version of Fiori app, we had normally two actions. It was the approve or reject. However, with the new Fiori version, we added also another actions that are part of our standard workflow functionality. So it can be forward. So it means that if somebody want to delegate this approval to some different person, it is now it is possible to forward that inside Fiori. It will not be needed to go to SAP GUI or PDWeb app to forward or delegate the document. Also, the same is with inquiry. So if somebody has any specific question related to that document, there is an inquiry option to ask some person for extra information. So with the new version, it's also possible now to do that with Fiori. Before, it was only possible with PDWeb app and with SAP GUI, but now it is also will be possible to do with Fiori. So users will not be required to go to SAP GUI or PDWeb app in order to do inquiry and ask for extra information before they decide to approve or reject the specific document. Okay. Another point is that search helps for all the fields. Before, we had a lot of limitations when we're doing the search helps, but with the new versions, there are a lot of let's say new search helps. So users will be able to search in order to find the good data. So, for example, if you need a GL account, then it will offer the search help or search engine. It will be the same or similar as the one in SAP. It's, for example, the same will be with call centers or BWS elements. So all of this should save the time for the users. Also, yeah, it's for the MM documents. We added the smart searches for the material items. So if it needs to be searched for the materials, that now it comes with a new smart search that gives you possibility to find the material, good material, as faster as possible in the most easiest way. Also, one very, very important functionality, it's related to tax fields. So in the old version, it wasn't possible to enter the tax codes on the header level. So it means that somebody needs to do that before document is sent to the workflow, to Fiori, or to go to PDWeb app or SAP GUI to add the tax codes. However, in the new version, the tax fields from the header level are also available. So, and the user can choose the tax code based on the search help. So it doesn't need to know by heart, but it will be also able to search. to enter the tax code and to save that. So it will also utilize the time, by putting all this data in Fiori instead of going to PDWeb app or SAP. And the last one, it's related to the filter button that's also available in the workflow history tab in the Fiori app. And this will also provide possibility to user to show, okay, how much documents wants to see in the workflow history. So for example, this user can, I don't know, approve 100 documents, but say, okay, in my workflow history, I just would like to see the last 10 or 20 documents that I approved. So with this filter tab, it will be able to do that, or even to show which specific vendors want to see in my history. So that is the last functionality that Camden should provide some better usability of the Fiori app. Okay. The next big topic is S/4HANA. So as you know, there are every day more and more companies moving to S/4HANA SAP version. So it was spent a lot of time on that, on doing the different certifications. So the first is that Process Director is now compatible or certified with S/4HANA 1909 and 1809 versions. So what means that companies using these S/4HANA versions officially now can also work with the Process Director, as it's proven that it works and certified with these two specific S/4HANA versions. And the Kofax, it's also, as you know, SAP partner, and also ramp up to be a partner for S/4HANA, as it is the newest SAP technology. Also, it's clear that Process Director is SAP certified solutions from the beginning. So it has very long history working on SAP platform and as a proven technology. Also, and down you can see that we certified 7.6 version to work with 1709 S/4HANA. We also now make the version 7.7 to be compliant with the S/4HANA 1809 version. And as I said previously in this slide on the top, the 7.8 version, it will be also certified for 1909 latest S/4HANA version. So these are the news basically related to the companies that using Process Director and that has a plan to move for S/4HANA, as saying we are ready also to support them. And you can see with all these certifications that we have. Okay, I think we can move to the next slide. Okay, this is also something what is coming into play these days, as there are much more companies using Ariba as a platform to communicate with the vendors. The new version offers some much more extra integrations to work with Ariba. So basically, what this means is that Ariba generates specific IDOCs types. So with the new version, we are able to create the specific EDI profiles to connect out of the box with this specific Ariba IDOCs, who have specific IDOC invoice type, and we are able to import these documents via EDI cockpit to our Process Director for Accounts Payable. Also, we are able now we are now able also to store the image that Ariba created, or any supporting documents that arrived from Ariba. We are able to store that in our Link content repository, and we are able to connect that Ariba documents with the PDAP documents that's created based on Ariba data. So what is the most important point to say here is that we have like specific profiles now out of the box for Ariba. So making now PDP working with Ariba via EDI interface or via with iDocs, it's out of the box functionality that gives possibility very easily to integrate Ariba with our PDAP. And once the document comes to the process director, it normally all the checks will be executed and users will be able to route that document to the specific workflow for approval and for later posting. So yeah, it's very important. Yeah, as I said, it's now out of the box functionality. So all the customers that are working with Ariba, they're considering combining Ariba with the PDP, that we offer the out of the box interface via Ariba iDocs that will give them easy integration and proven integration. Okay, I think we can move to the next step. Okay, and this is the first part was the inbound process, so receiving the documents from Ariba, and the second part it's related to the updating the Ariba status in Ariba from PDP, or we call that outbound process. So the way how the system works is that now we can utilize from PDP the standard Ariba status export, so that the users wants, for example, if we for example post the document in PDP or park or reject via this report, we will be able to automatically also update the status back in Ariba. So Ariba will have the good status based on the PDAP status. So in theory, it means that we create one document, for example, and then in Ariba that document, for example, is still created but not doesn't have a status. I don't know, parked, for example. And then if we post a park that via this report, we can send the status update back to Ariba, so that these two systems will be synchronized. And also there is one body. It means when the users we are able to put the specific I don't know, logic inside this status update. Maybe there are some exceptions that needs to be handled, but with these bodies from the status update, it becomes easier and straightforward now. So yeah, I think that's the second part of this Ariba integration. So we have the inbound integration. It's now fully automated out the box, and we have the outbound. Okay, I think this will be last slide related to the new functionalities. This is related to the non-AP process. It can be PDPO, PD for purchase orders, PDSO, PD for the sales orders, of PD for the financial postings, anything. So the first thing, it's the performance improvement. So it was worked a lot to provide the real delta handling of the data, so the system not get, let's say, do not experience some slowness during the work. And also, it's a new functionality. It's for button calculations when you open the pop-up screen showing the sub-level data. So all these things, especially these two, it should give user some better performance and provide them to work much more faster in the system than now. Okay, there are some another functions. So first one, it's we have some specific mapping function to translate calendar week to date if it is needed. Also, for the presets, when we can define when we can find default values for the specific document, we have now preset for get set user parameters. what gives tremendous more flexibility, inserting default data that will be pre-populated without any interaction of the users, or it will not require a user to put the data manually. Okay, and there are some for the workflows. We had some new options, and they're used for calculation of the workflow duration. So this also now can be a little bit more flexible than before. And the last, I think I already explained, it's related to single sign-on. SSO, if you have, for example, NetWeaver platform where your PDWeb app is installed, we can do the string manipulation to give the user opportunity to utilize SSO. So I think this will be all the functionalities that are coming with the new version. And now I think it's to move to the upgrade.
Yep. Thanks, Marco. I appreciate you explaining all those new features that we got coming out here, you know, for Process Director 7.8. Now we're going to talk about, you know, as you consider these new features and, you know, how to take them on and how to prepare for your upgrade here. So before you start things, you know, important items to consider is kind of your strategic planning and road mapping. You know, do you have future plans to migrate to the cloud? Do you have future plans to be on, you know, S4 or HANA in the cloud? What other technology projects are you planning alongside this that you can plan these things together to happen at the same time? Making sure that your resource scheduling, you know, that you have the proper people allocated to take on these upgrade projects is important, and prepare for the possible downtime that you can have as you're doing these upgrades. Also, you know, a lot of times things that are overlooked when introducing new features is any potential education that has to happen to your end users. Make sure that they're familiar with the new features, the interface doesn't change very much, and having good change management controls as you roll these new features out. You know, so you kind of have a typical project life cycle here during the upgrade for planning. You know, the analysis you have on the system prior to the upgrade, doing the upgrade solution of the systems, aligning the solution with your production processes, performing UAT, and doing your go live and transition steps. So, you know, today we talked about the features of of Process Director that come out in 7.8, mostly around the AP module and the Fiori enhancements to the UI, as well as the additional enhancements to the other modules that come with this latest version of Process Director. If you have any questions, you know, don't hesitate to email us at rpi@rpic.com, and we can answer any questions around, you know, latest features of Process Director 7.8 and then how we can help you prepare for your upgrade to this latest version of Process Director. Don't forget to check out our website for our previously recorded webinars and upcoming webinars, and check out our knowledge base. Thank you for joining, and we look forward to seeing you soon.